Well, Munster's win meant we were straight away guaranteed 2 Irish sides in the semi-finals. It wasn't to be for Ulster over the weekend. We've got someone that was right in the thick of it. Got yourself a bleeding nose, didn't you, KV?
How's it going, lads? Yeah, got a bit of a slap on the beak, so I'm a bit sore. Yeah,
mate. You played that well. Does it feel like you won or not?
Well, at the end, they were, those 60,000 people screaming "one more year." I was like, stop it, honestly, stop it. And they're like, no, you prick, we're chatting about RugbyPass. Jokes aside, it is mixed emotions because ultimately, we lost. We're out of the competition. Having said that, we're very, very proud of how we played, and we showed we can hack it at that level, and it bodes well for the future of this group going forward in the league and the future of the team over the coming years.
Oh, mate, it definitely does. You boys were awesome. What was the build-up like? I mean, Leinster clearly were favourites. Me and Goody spoke about it before. We knew that you guys would bring your A game, but what was the build-up like to the game?
It's exciting for it's new territory for a lot of these players. This group, not a lot of the players have played at the Aviva Stadium. You guys know there's a big difference playing in what you'd call an arena, like a 50,000-60,000 stadium. So there's loads of excitement, and we know how good Leinster are, but we enjoyed the fact that nobody gave us a snowball's chance. I think the bookies were saying we were plus 17, and when their team was announced, we thought they were very, very, very beatable. We were confident with our team and how we prepared, and we did enough to win the game. Just ultimately, as the result shows, we didn't win it.
And obviously, mate, you had a heroic performance, especially defensively, making all the tackles. But let's just talk just before the game. I saw a few clips on social media of all the Ulster fans. Apparently, there's about 15,000 Ulster fans at the Aviva Stadium, but also on the bus on the way in. Saw a video from Freddie Burns. They were in the Ulster fan zone and the pubs outside. How good was that as an away player going into the stadium, seeing how many of the Ulster faithful were with you?
Yeah, it was class. And again, it just goes back to show this team has been on such a journey. We had to play in a qualifying game to get into Europe last year against the Ospreys at home, and it's probably one of the worst crowds I've played at in terms of numbers at home. I think there was about 7,000 or 8,000 there. So to have double that, say 10 months later, travel down the road to take on Leinster with us. It was great. It just great day, great memories. Just obviously very disappointed that we didn't get the win. And unfortunately for me, I've been in a few changing rooms like that before, where we've lost to Leinster in knockout games. The difference this year that almost made it worse is that I felt like we could have and maybe should have won. There's been times when you lose, you can just hold your hands up and say they're better than us, and go back and we try and become better, and we sign well and we train hard and we improve. And over the last few years, we've done that. And this, we were ready to go. We had them there, and we didn't get it done. So in many ways, that's almost tougher to take.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of reasons about that, but we'll get onto it in a minute. But for you personally, KV, we've been giving you a bit of stick, haven't we? Captain of the Shags and all that. So you've put in a big performance. How was that for you? Because I know what it's like. I played in the quarter-final against Glasgow a couple of years ago, Saracens, and then got man of the match in that game, and I never fucking played again. So, has anything been said to you? I know you're questioning potentially what you're going to do next year, but playing on that biggest stage, for you, what are you thinking? Are you thinking London Irish next year or what? I reckon your value's gone up a good 10 grand now off the back of that a month.
Yeah, that's me. I've doubled up the 20 grand contract value a season now. So I don't know. I think for me, I love joking about the captain of the Shags and all. It's good fun. And this year, I've been on the bench a good bit, and I was rolled out at Christmas in the second teams a couple of times, and it's great fun. It's great fun. I have never doubted my ability to play in big games like that. So for me, I suppose it's probably nice to show other people that I can still do that, and we can have the laugh. But it is funny, Jim. We speak about it. People are very quick to forget. I think that's the fourth quarter final I played in, and I went to the World Cup a few years ago, and people I got the impression that people were genuinely like astounded that I didn't play like a dick, you know. So yeah, it for me, I didn't surprise myself, but you know, maybe I surprised a few people.
Well, you didn't surprise us, mate, because as you know, people come on the podcast. You're a regular friend of the podcast now, and you just go to bigger and better things, don't you? But more interestingly for me, obviously there has been a few injuries. You had a bit of a knock before the game, didn't you? Do you have some injections in your ribs as well before the match?
Yeah, I got absolutely smoked into next week. Last game against the Kings, and I strained the intercostal muscles. So yeah, I had to get a couple of.
What's that?
Had to get it. Yeah, somewhere in there underneath my gut somewhere.
Oh, okay. I'll have one.
He hasn't seen that since he was 6 months old, mate.
You need some padding around your midriff, mate. You don't get bruised ribs then, pal.
Yeah, so I had to get 2 injections on Thursday, and then 2 before the game, anaesthetic, just so literally I couldn't feel it. So I was pretty sore, but yeah, I sort of thought, you know what, I'll be a long time retired, so you know, I'm not going to sit out a game like that.
Mate, we need to get to the talking point of the game. We had Freddie Burns on last week on the podcast, who was brilliant, by the way. He was quite candid on the situation which he was involved in with dropping the ball over the line. We've got to bring it up, obviously. It's been well documented now. There's a load of stuff, you know, after the game around Stockdale. How was he after the game, first and foremost? And, you know, what's he said and what the boys said to him?
Yeah, like I genuinely, I felt for him. He was absolutely devastated. And the fact of the matter is, you know, we wouldn't have been in that game. He scored in every pool game for us. Some of them scintillating tries, so we wouldn't have been in that quarter-final without him. How he actually manages to get over the try line from where he receives the ball is spectacular. When he gets that ball, if I'm outside going, do not pass it to me, pal, because I ain't got a chance of going over the line. Listen, he knows he should have set it down, but you know, as I said, like he's played a big role in getting us there, and he actually played bloody well. His ball in the air, competing with Adam Byrne, was one of the best sort of highlights of the game, I thought. And like if he puts that down, he's man of the match.
Oh, so, mate, of course, yeah. And mate, and his as well. He weren't taking the piss either, was he? Like, it wasn't a case of like he was showboating or anything like that. He's just, mate, it's a good tackle to stop him going in the corner. So. Yeah,
and I'm not too sure what's gone through his head, but we definitely listen. If he scores that try, the dynamic of the game completely changes. So you can't say for certain that we would have gone on and Luke Marshall would have scored. So it's not as simple as saying that, you know, you can't just add 5 points or 7 points onto our score at the end of the game and say that costs us the game. That's not how rugby works. We all know that with changes in momentum. But so the way I see it, he'll be as disappointed as anyone. He's apologised to the group privately and publicly to people. He didn't need to do that because, as I said, we wouldn't have been in that position without him this season. He's a phenomenal player. To be honest with you, I think he's potentially the best left winger in the world. I wouldn't swap him for anyone. If he said take a pick of wingers ahead of him, I don't know if I would take anyone for him. So he's a quality player, and he's only going to keep getting better.
And he's hung like a horse.
And he's got a hell of a pace.
Mate, I tell you what, he needs to sort out that lid though. Is he going for the perm or what? What's he doing with that, mate? He needs a high and tight.
Yeah, I don't know what. Someone said to him during the week, so what is wrong with your lid, pal? But I don't know what he's at. He needs the hand tight, doesn't he?
It's the perm.
And talking of people that haven't got perms, Roy Best, absolutely no hair on his head. How is he? Because with the injury, it didn't look good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There was a couple of injuries in the game. I'm sure that I'm no doctor, but Dan Levy looked like he absolutely fucked himself. So that's gotten for him. He's like 12 months ago, he was sort of on the same path as James Ryan to absolute stardom, and it's been stuttered since. So
did he get caught in a ruck? He got twisted out because they didn't show a replay, obviously, but it looked. He looked in horrendous pain.
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones that it was so gruesome they deliberately didn't show it. I think he's sort of in that like post position. He kind of gets knocked from one side and then he gets mangled from the other side. And I'm not too sure what he's done. I think he might have dislocated and something and ruptured something down there. So the boys reckoned it was pretty ugly. So everyone's sort of sending him best wishes. And Bestie, I think, was in kind of like a poach position as well. And he rolled his ankle. So like he'll be getting assessed and stuff today. I'd say he'll be out for a couple of weeks, but I'm no doctor to be speculating on how long he's going to be out for.
Well, talking of obviously the next few weeks, trip to Glasgow on Friday night.
There we go.
Are you fit and ready to captain the Shags again, or what's happening?
I don't know what's going to be happening. I'm fit and ready to go. I don't know in terms of selection what's going to be happening. Like we need to win games in the league. Our pool's real tight. The Scarlets, I think, are in 5th, and they're about 8 points behind us, or 7 points behind us. So we need to first and foremost secure that we're going to be back in Europe next year, and ultimately we want to be playing in the playoffs, preferably at home. So like we have no time to be sort of resting bodies and stuff. So we'll be going full metal jacket to try and get a result.
So you'll be skipper of the whole lot then, not the Shags. It'll be the first team.
Well, I'll put myself forward for it, Goody. But when I phoned Dan, he just said, "Whose number is this?" Sorry.
Well, mate, you've mentioned you've got a big run in, and we had Freddie on here last week, and Billy Burns. We heard about his fake tooth. Make sure that none of the guys be putting that fake tooth in the mouth and choking, because that can cause serious harm, KV, can't it?
It can, especially after where it's been, Jim.
Oh, very true. Is that the same one that you had in your mouth that you sent me? Is that the same tooth, or is that a new one? Deny.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Deny, mate. Deny.
I bet your breath smells worse than Andy Rose right now with that.
Unlikely. All right, KV, thanks very much for joining us, mate. Best of luck this week.
Cheers, lads. Speak to you soon.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, well done, mate. We'll just pretend he won. He played that well. We'll just say Ulster won.
Thanks, lads.
Good
lad.
Yeah, good lad.
Good
Top
lad.
lad.